I don't know if any of you guys ever deal with synchronicities or anything like that. Um, Me and my neighbor were always joking about it because when I first met him, he was working on his truck, and I just like walked on over and was like, "Hey, neighbor, what's up?" And I mean, since then, him and I we hang out all the time, uh, working constantly working on cars and all that. But it's like every time some sort of like synchronicity pops up, him and I are texting each other, and we're like, "Simulation, simulation." Um, and I just had a couple, and it's always little stuff. I just had a couple of them happen like just yesterday, and I don't know how I haven't like fully embraced the whole manifestation and synchronicities because it's like I see it every single day. I see it all the time, but it's always little stuff. And I'll tell you like after I tell you the synchronicities that like the just a couple little ones I ran into yesterday. Um, I'll tell you like what I think the secret is because I think I figured it out. But anyways, yesterday I was talking to my brother, and he had something wrong with his guitar, so he went and got it fixed. And him and I were talking like uh, I was out in the garage. I bought a little guitar for my son, and he I bought it like a year ago. He shows no interest in the thing, and I was sitting there talking to my brother, and it was actually before I was talking to my brother. My son out of nowhere just goes and grabs the guitar, and he starts messing around with it, and then I talked to my brother. So it was like one thing happened right before the other. That's kind of like a minor one, but the other thing I was talking to my brother about, and just like guys, every time that I talk to my brother, and my wife was like, who are you on the phone so long for? Because I mean I talked to him for like an hour, 2 hours, 4 hours sometimes, and she'll be like, oh, okay, well, how's your brother? How's his family? How's his kids? And I'm like, I don't know. We didn't talk about any of that shit. It's like, and that's how guys like. That's what we talk about: cars, how shitty is your job, uh, how you holding up, what bullshit have you had to go through recently. So we don't talk about usually kids or unless we're like bitching about something our wife, and even then it's like it doesn't really. It's like how's your family? Like, oh, it's fucked up. That's how it is. You know. So we're sitting there talking about. I had just gotten done doing some stuff to the Jeep, and we are talking about working on cars and stuff like that. So he's got a truck, and it's not nearly the shitbox my Jeep is, but he just had to fix the hood struts. And we were sitting there laughing about that. Like, I watch a lot of videos. So, like, every time that I'm going to do something on the Jeep that I've never done before, it's like I sit there and I watch videos and stuff like that. And all these videos I watch, it's like some dude always has a 2x4 or a piece of pipe holding up his hood. He's, so like all these videos, these people are doing like some pretty serious repairs, like replacing oil pans and pulling transfer cases and all this other stuff, and yet they can't, they can't spend $20 and 10 minutes of their time swapping out hood struts. So we were talking about that, and he was like, "Yeah, I just replaced mine," and blah blah blah. So today, I was driving my wife's VW, and the freaking it started raining. So I turned on the windshield wipers and I'm spraying the windows and all that stuff, and it gives me the low window washer fluid warning. So on the way home, I grabbed some window washer fluid, pull into the driveway, and I go to I pop the hood. I go to lift it up, the hood strut failed, and I was just under that hood like I don't know what's it been like a month. Just under that hood a month ago. Um, Actually less than that, but I was under there replacing the little plastic valve cover on the passenger side, and then like a week after that, I sprayed the whole engine down, got it all cleaned up. So I was under that hood maybe like 3 weeks ago, and everything worked fine. And now the hood struts failed. So it's just and that stuff happens all the time. Like my you know, if I go through all the text messages between like me and my neighbor, it's like every other day, it's just like simulation. Um, yeah, as a matter of fact, we just got done. Just got done. I can't even remember. It just happens so often. So it just, I wonder why I haven't fully embraced like the whole manifestation, simulation, stuff like that, because it's like it just happens too often, to be a freaking coincidence. Um, but what I have noticed is that if I am like putting energy into like say I'm in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna get a job that pays me $200,000 a year, right? Well, the first, like, I get these emotions, right? It's like when you buy a lottery ticket and you put the numbers down. It's like there's emotion behind that. You're like thinking about how excited you would be if you won, and all the stuff you would do. But at the same time, in the back of your head, you're like, oh, none of that stuff ever happens to me, you know? And it's like walking to the mailbox. Instead of thinking in my head, I've got a check coming for some random thing that I didn't know about, it's like, oh, what bills are going to come in this bullshit today and blah, blah, blah. What I've noticed is that the things that happen in my life where it was like literally there was a precursor, like a thought or something like that, there's no emotion behind it, whatever. It's literally like the most random thought, the most random whatever, with no emotion behind it, and then it happens. So if I'm putting intention and thought and emotion behind it, it never, nothing ever happens. It's just the all the random stuff that is just like, I wonder. Okay, so here's one example that really I thought it just kind of like spells it out. The my brother, he just texted me. He said freaking epic coincidence, because I just told him my hood strut failed, and he was like freaking epic coincidence. But so at my old job, I used to drive a lot. Like I was driving 3 or 4 hours a day, sometimes more than that. Um, and I was driving down the freeway, and for whatever reason, because I mean, here we have so much traffic. I see hundreds of cars. If I'm driving for an hour and a half, I'm seeing hundreds of cars. And for some reason, I was like, I saw like an old, like a Japanese type, like an older car. I don't remember even what it was. And in my head, I was like, I haven't seen a Honda S2000 in like so long. I can't even remember. Like it's months, years, whatever. I haven't seen one. And I was just thinking, like, I wonder if those things are still around. Probably 30 seconds after I was thinking that, and then just back to driving this black S2000 with this loud exhaust, gets on the freeway and cuts across like 5 lanes of traffic right in front of me and goes into the HOV lane and takes off. And I'm just like, what are the odds? What are the odds that I was just thinking like, hey, are there any of those cars even around anymore? And this one with just this exhaust, just right in front of me. And there's no way I could have seen it in my rearview mirror or anything like that, because I'm just like, I'm just driving. And this thing, it came from an I could say the freeway. It was like the 10 East, where the 60 connects to the 10 East. There's an on ramp right before that intersection, and that's where that thing came in and just flew across traffic, and then, you know, so it's like I didn't see it coming or anything like that. It's not like in my subconscious I saw it in my rearview mirror, because it was like literally it was probably half a minute after I was even thinking that, and it came out of nowhere. It wasn't in the same traffic that I was in. It came out of like a totally different lane of traffic, and I've just like, but stuff like that. It was almost like, uh, with the exhaust on that car as loud as it was like the universe was like, "Hey, dumbass! Like when you think of shit, this is the result, And yeah, just stuff like that. And it's funny that I'm even making this video, and that's when, because I texted my brother this morning like 2 hours ago, and he finally just responded back when I'm making this video. So, anyways, it's so interesting. But anyways, I got to go pick up this hood strut. I got to get the liftgate motor for this piece of crap because that's bad too. The only thing my wife cares about is like when she hits the liftgate button, does the thing lift all the way up? And all it does right now is it just lifts up like a foot. Super annoying. And it's probably because she was screwing with it. She was setting the liftgate height because on those it'll either open up all the way. For some reason, she had to set the liftgate height, and it's the perfect height to where when that thing would open, every fucking time I would hit my forehead on that thing, and I was every time I would be like, "Why did you have to fuck with this thing?" And now it's broke, and it's been that way for a while. So I'm gonna go get those parts and get that swapped out. But anyways, I just thought I know this, but this didn't need to be like an 11-minute video. But thanks for listening.